boys. It is I, the vicious scumbag. And with me today...
Your Honorable Sensei.
And we survived.
We barely survived.
It was first Helene, followed by Milton. And the hurricanes were brutal.
They were very brutal. But we live in North Florida, so we weren't hit directly.
But we're sorry that your honorable and vicious senseis were MIA.
But we back now, suckers. So what we want you to do is appreciate us. Acknowledge us. Hit that like. You better comment. And you better subscribe if you want to acknowledge your Larry leaders.
Because we are
Longturnlarry Podcast.
And there's been quite the change.
There's been an uproar.
Yes.
Part 1's already recorded. It actually got recorded before the hurricane.
Yep.
And stuff hit the fan.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about part 2.
Get ready. Strap yourself in. Grab a drink. Have maybe a couple. Because we're going to be talking about, is this good? Or is it horrible?
To look the gift horse in the mouth, if I'm using that correctly.
You shouldn't.
I'm going to.
Let me see those teeth.
Some of y'all were big baby rage mad about these bands.
Yeah, there was a lot of angry Magic players.
And because of that anger, people made death threats, people doxed. And now we literally hit the worst case scenario, and Wizards controls Commander.
You happy? Are you happy now, death threat people? You're like, you bad mana crypt. I'm gonna kill your family. It's crazy.
I hate the RC because they don't make any decisions. They don't do nothing. I hate the RC because they did something.
Yeah, you guys, one group of bad apples made Wizards come in and buy it. Congratulations, you did it. Who owns them? Is it Namco? No, it's
Hasbro.
Hasbro, that's what it is. You let Hasbro buy it. Congratulations.
Well, they already had it, but now
I know.
Now we deeper in the pocket.
Exactly. We were almost out. We weren't, but.
So, what does that look like for the format? Is this like a good thing, a bad thing? Some people think it was inevitable.
I felt that way. Truly.
I didn't really think that it was inevitable.
I was surprised it took this long. Truly. I thought they would have done it sooner. I thought when they first started releasing Commander precons, I was like, this is it.
I think, to me, and I think they've actually said this, they actually really like the distance between like Commander players and Wizards, because like we don't get the backlash. You have to blame the RC now.
Oh, yeah. You're saying they kind of liked that whole, hands off almost.
Right. Like
Yeah.
we can influence Commander by making product. And that's exactly what we want to do because it makes us money. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
So if you're going to blame somebody, it might as well be this third party instead of you blaming us.
Instead of me. Yeah. Like,
then,
it's not me. It's that guy.
Because then, if you stop buying product, that hits my bottom line because you're blaming us in particular.
Yeah. But positives, you have now, Wizards is going to dedicate a legitimate team to this. Like this is now going to get more funding necessarily than it was before. So now there's, I don't know what the numbers are. Let's say there was 8 people at Magic that were working on designing commander product, maybe that's going to increase because they're going to have more people on commander things.
I don't think they're necessarily going to increase the number of designers.
Not necessarily, but you know what I'm saying.
What's going to happen is that we're going to have more people looking into the format and how it's shaped. Specifically in like, this is your job, as opposed to like you being like a voluntary member of this organization that doesn't really pay people. And like,
you weren't running a soup kitchen. You were just helping homeless people. But now you got a soup kitchen.
Like, this is the difference between like me doing a podcast for free and running a format, and like, I'm Joe Rogan.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, you're Joe Rogan? Yo, can we eat some elk? I'm done. I need that elk meat. But I am mixed. I think you kind of feel the same way too.
Yeah,
I'm mixed.
I don't trust corporations.
I don't either. I don't trust them either.
I don't really trust wizards.
They do be having them grody fingers. I don't know where they've been. Them potions stink.
But I'm a big fan of data.
I agree, because how you going to make a ban list when you don't have like true stuff to back it? You know what I mean? Right. It's kind of hard to balance a game when you don't have hard evidence on the game.
And I think it's even harder to balance Commander because it's not a competitive format. Like, when you look at like Standard, like, we can quantify a card being broken because we have like RCQs and all these different competitions. We're gonna be like, okay, well, this card is part of like 60% of the meta share.
Yeah.
Sort of like the One Ring in Modern.
Yeah.
Like, should we do something about this? Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? What type of decks are using it? Is it a crutch? So things of that nature. We're not going to be able to get like that in depth because we're not a competitive format, but we do get access to like real data that's not like EDH rec.
Yeah. Which, shout outs to EDH rec. Love them. I mean, super good. Them and Scryfall, chef's kiss. But I agree. It's a lot of people, us included, like to build decks that we don't own. And like build decks because we're testing. And I feel like when places like EDH Rec are getting a lot of those numbers from, are also just from decks that people are just building. So I feel like it doesn't.
Like, it's not the actual, like.
It's not like they were at a tournament and they saw that 9 out of the 10 competitors were Boros. You know what I mean?
And it's sort of parasitic to where, like, all right, well, if EDH Rec is the place where you go to look at cards, now those cards are more likely to be shown on EDH Rec because I'm going there to help build my deck, which compounds on itself, which compounds on itself, which compounds on itself.
Yeah, self-fulfilling prophecies. If you're reading the bones, the bones are more likely to say they're more likely to say something because you're looking for the bones to say something. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Oh yeah, no, I agree. And also too, you have to have multiple places you're getting it from, and there has to be some consistency. I mean, scientific. I agree with you. I love the idea of the numbers. What is one thing besides that you're positive about? I'll give you the one other thing I might be grateful for that I think could come from this. And we kind of touched on it a little bit. I think we might get just a little bit more commanders just love or stuff. Like for example, there isn't really a competitive commander scene. Maybe there could be now.
Well, there is a competitive commander scene.
Well, CDH is the competitive commander scene, but I mean,
which actually makes me sort of worried because CDH is a very proxy friendly format. So if Wizards
is modern,
no, none of the competitive formats allow you to play non-wizard proxies. So like if I have a double face card, I can run the double face proxy and then whoop 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 whoop. But like CDH is a proxy friendly format, and I'm not sure if I want Wizards controlling CEDH, because that means there is now like a greater barrier to entry to play this format.
The paywall to get in is now massive.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you couldn't play. Like you legit.
Legitimately.
I couldn't play. I could not afford one of those decks.
It's like, oh man, well now I need to. I got these shocks, but now I don't have
Badlands.
Yeah, I don't have Badland. You know.
Yeah, you're not running the original duels. Where are your duels, Honorable? Huh?
Sorry, I'm gonna shock this into play. I know it's not.
Yeah, I totally forgot that it's a different mindset. I totally forgot they have Magic proxies. I have one. The from when we got our cards from our friend whose brother played in a tournament. Remember? Right. Yeah, that the World Tourney card. It says it on the back. That's a Magic proxy.
You can't play those in tournament. It specifically says on the back, you cannot play these in tournament.
Yeah, it was just from the tournament.
But the proxies I'm talking about are like the extra cards you get in the pack.
Yeah.
So like, let's say we have
like with werewolves from Innistrad was a great example of the first time I remember seeing that.
It might be the first time they were ever done.
It could have been, because I don't recall there being double cards before werewolves. But yeah, no, I remember. Yeah. So you would have to have the double card, otherwise they're like.
You would have, you wouldn't be able to like play proxies. Period.
Oh. See. It's, you know what that is? That's like it's like the corporate nonsense. That's what that is. It's like corporate nonsense seeping in to where it's like no, proxies are okay because I understand that you don't, have a copy of a card that was only printed one time in 1980. It's like, it's cool that you're running the proxy of it.
Or here's sort of the alternative, like competitive commander ends up getting planed on MTGO. But I hate watching Commander on MTGO. It is a terrible experience.
Why? What don't you like about it?
It's just ugly. It is ugly.
I mean, it reminds me of, you're talking about Magic the Gathering online.
Online.
Yeah, you're not talking about Arena.
Yeah, you can't. If they made Arena be able to be played, if they allowed Commander to be played on Arena, that would be a different thing.
That's what I was meaning by like Commander might get more love. Like that's an example. Like maybe it would be on
I think they've already specifically discussed that they're never putting they're never allowing you to play 4 players on Arena because bandwidth or some stupid excuse.
Oh man.
Trust me.
I know. Historic Brawl is as close as we got.
Yeah, like you really think if like it was viable for them to do, they wouldn't do it?
I think it is viable. I think it's money.
It costs too much money to get it started.
Yeah. Well, I understand that because like, yeah, I saw some breakdowns on a couple of the social medias, like on how much it costs them to stream each thing. And so, like, I know it's different, but, like, I understand. I get it. I get their logic. They built it for 1v1s. It's not meant for it. I get it. But
so, a thing that I'm sort of neutral on is this bracket system. Mm-hmm. So at first, when they start talking about brackets, I was just like, ew.
It wasn't Admiral Bracket Bass.
I hate you. When they first started talking about brackets, I was very put off because me monkey brain, me no like change.
Yeah, change bad. Change bad.
Change bad, me no like change.
Me no like change.
And then I was like starting to like really like look into it, and I'm like, this isn't like a terrible idea.
I agree. I'm still middle of the road. I don't know where I stand just yet because I feel like there's good and bad to this.
I'm just sort of wary where they're going to, how they're like, there's no way you can put every card.
There's too many cards
on this bracket system.
There's too many.
So you would have to like put the saltiest cards have to be on this bracket system.
Yeah.
And the cards that see the most play.
Yeah, your ones have to be being honorable. We're trying to break this down because they talked about it. They
specifically said like one is something that would be printed in a pre-con,
and they specifically said like an average pre-con. Like they were saying like just like a regular pre-con.
So that made some people big baby rage mad because Soul Ring's in every pre-con. Soul Ring should be a 4. Why is Soul Ring in the 4?
They're just mad that Mana Crypt got banned.
Be salty.
Be salty.
Be salty. Don't care. So like there are cards that are allowed to be that are powerful that can show up as a 1. Like Path to Exile, like
is a very powerful card.
It's a very powerful card.
That is technically a 1. Because you're going to find it in any deck that has white.
And it gets printed in a pre-con. So you never have to worry about, you know.
No, it's always going to be available to you. Just that simple.
It's really my issue. My issue is they're doing a 1 through 4. And I honestly think this should be, well, they didn't state that they're doing a 1 through 4. They're testing a 1 through 4. And I really think you need a middle ground. Well, because like, I think the difference between like, okay, a card. So for me, let me say this. So one is things that are like pre-con level cards. 2 is things that are sort of ubiquitous, but would it be seen in a pre-con? Like, 3 visits.
Okay, yeah. A very powerful ramp spell that could easily be put into anything, but we're not going to put it in every pre-con that's got green.
Right. And then like to me, a 3 card is like high power or salty enough. Like to me, Armageddon would be like a 3.
Mm-hmm. I agree to that. Land destruction board wide definitely feels powerful, but it's not I broke or ended the game. It elongates it, sure, but did you like, but you know, like we were talking about, you know, like a 1 doesn't necessarily mean it's not like that it's weak, you know, it's not, or that it's not powerful, because there are cards that are going to be in this 1 category that are really good. And then it's like the cards in this 4 category may be hyper powerful, but I don't think that I have a beef with this list.
Like, I don't really think there's going to be much of an argue about what 4s and 1s are.
Yes.
Because I don't think Magic lives in 4s and 1s. Really, people who are playing with 4s know that they're playing with a 4, and there might be a justification because your deck is really sits in the realm of 2, but you might have a 4 because you opened it in a pack.
Yeah, like what you were saying. Honorable had the pleasure of getting a Sylvan library when it wasn't like $60. And I have never owned one until like recently. I had to get a big boy job. And so to me, like Sylvan Library holds like a spot of it being like a hyper powerful card because I've always watched it just beat me up. And I'm over here with no cards and I'm just like, I need card draw. Does that mean it's a 4? No. I think of it as a 3.
We had a whole sort of thing before we started. So like to me, as somebody who's had this card, it's sitting in a binder right now. Like it's not even being played.
Yeah.
It's not
even in use.
So to me, like that card's like a 2 to me. Like, yeah, you can play that card, but it's not so powerful that I think that it's a 3 because there's a cost associated to it. You paying the life. Yes, you get to look at the top 3, but you still have to pay life to get the cards.
Yeah, it could in theory be quote unquote better.
To me, like a 3 is Trouble in Pairs, where it's 4 mana. You're almost sort of guaranteed to get cards on everybody's turn. And then like a 4 is like Necropotence.
Yeah. I agree with the 4. Like, and I get what you're saying. I don't think 4s are hard to like.
Yeah, 4s will never be hard to point out.
Like another example of a 4 would be Peer into the Abyss. That's a 4.
No.
You don't think Peer is a 4?
No.
All right.
Peer is like
a 3.
Like I would put it like high 2, 3.
See, that's where I'm gonna have a beef with this scale.
And this is why I think you can't. This is why I think you can't specifically have 4 because the difference between like 2 and 3 is a large gap. I have a werewolf tribal deck that I do not play. It sits mostly in 2, but the difference, but there are some cards that are like 3-ish, right? But I have like Muldrotha is a deck made out of solid 3s.
It's just
that's why I think this bracket needs to have either a 5 so that we have some type of middle ground that separates pre-con level decks that are like upgraded pre-cons, the middle ground, the 7 where everybody believes that they're at. Like I would put my random tribal deck at a 7 because it's not super powerful, but like I would play that deck against almost anybody and we could have a good time.
So now that would leave you with 2 more brackets then.
1 more.
No. I'm saying if it was 5.
Yeah, but we already know what the 5s are.
So you're saying 5 is CDH. What would 4 be then?
4 would be like annoying cards like cornflakes.
Yeah, I was pulling up cards as we were thinking because I was like, like for example, I think like Winter Orb is a 3. It's powerful.
To me, Winter Orb would be a 4. Like a 4 in the 5 bracket.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying. If we keep it to the 1 through 4 status, I give Winter Orb a 3. I don't think it's like, it's strong, but I don't think it's like.
But if you've played against Winter Orb and you know how to play around Winter Orb, it's not the worst experience. I mean, no, it's a terrible experience, but it's a thing that can happen.
Yeah, I'd say I think win cons are 1. If it's a win con, then it's important that it has a high priority. I get that they're probably going to put the bulk of those probably in the 3 and 4 space. Like Thassa's Oracle, I think is going to be in the 3 or 4 space.
Like, I honestly, because people, and I've had this discussion many a times. Thassa's Oracle is by itself not an impressive card.
That's what I was. That's kind of like what I've been alluding to. Is like, I don't get how they're gonna make this list, because there are a lot of cards that are very powerful in conjunction with other cards. They're not powerful alone.
But there typically is the abuser card.
Yeah.
And then a card that's sort of there.
Or like the payout and the thing that gets you.
Demonic Consultation is the card that's broken.
Yes. Thassa's is the payout.
If every blue deck ran Thassa's Oracle, they wouldn't be any better.
No, I agree. You don't just now automatically have higher wins and more win rates because you have more win cards in your deck. I agree. You don't.
I think if you put Demonic Consultation in every black deck,
they would win more.
Even if they're not using it to combo, just specifically be like,
they would win more. It would.
They would win more.
Yeah, because it's an incredible amount of card draw. So
it's not card draw. You're searching for a specific card.
Sorry, I was thinking of Necropotence.
Yeah.
But either way, it's like comparing Thassa's to like Demonic Tutor. Like if every deck ran Demonic Tutor, it's gonna run faster. Every deck running Thassa's does nothing for it. Lab Maniac doesn't win you games unless you can mill yourself out. You know what I mean? Same thing with Thassa's. So it's like if you don't have that cheeky way to like draw out your deck, those two cards are just kind of like wah, wah.
Yeah, it's sort of like when you look at Brain Freeze and what's the card that combos? I just talked about it. Underworld Breach.
Oh, Underworld Breach. Sorry.
Underworld Breach is the 4.
I was about to say is broken. Yeah.
Like I was playing Brain Freeze fair when we first started playing Commander.
Yeah.
You can play Brain Freeze in a deck that's not set to combo because it's a storm card.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
And that's kind of where there's like a whole archetype to this, to where it's like there are cards that are just naturally strong. Like every wheel card is like a 3. Like I don't feel like there are really that many. Okay, there's a couple, but the bulk of wheels are strong.
I wouldn't even say that.
You wouldn't say the bulk of wheel cards are good? I feel like board wipes, there are some really bad board wipes. Like really bad. Like, you know, they're like 8 mana.
Like,
and they do nothing.
I think the only 2 board wipes that are worth consideration is Farewell, because people hate it. I'm not sure why.
I think they hate it because it's a good coverall.
Okay, cool. And Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah. I think the only other 2 I would add to that, just for the sake of popularity, to see them not used as much, would be Blast Act and Vanquish.
And those would be ones. Well, Vanquish I would put on the list, but I'd put like Wrath of God as a 1.
Yeah.
It'd probably be Damn, because Damn is actually a card that they would put in the precon. I don't think I've ever seen a precon with Wrath of God, but whatever that 4 mana Wrath is.
What is the 5?
Fumigate.
Fumigate. There you go. There
reading
you go.
your mind.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, there's the the one equivalent. Because I could see it in the pre-con. It's still a board wipe, but it's not like garbage. Like, it's not hyper good, but it's not garbage.
Yeah.
I agree with you. My problems are the 2 and 3 mark.
And that's why I think there needs to be a middle bracket, because I think we live in Commander, and just as somebody who builds Commander decks, I know the difference between like a deck that I could play and like you guys are gonna have to stop me, and a deck where I'm just sort of chilling.
I mean, it's.
And to say that like 2 and 3 are the difference between like a deck that's chilling and like Muldrotha is crazy to me.
I know what you're getting at, because I was trying to think about it. So like taking my own deck into consideration, like some of my own cards. I definitely have decks that I consider like a 7. Would I consider them a 3? Meaning that they were shy of being CDH, but they were.
I don't even think being shy of CDH is
a 3.
Where 3 is, because some shy of CDH decks are playing CDH cards. I'm talking about like decks where like I'm specifically. This is the most tuned that I can be, but I'm not specifically playing the best tutors, and I'm not specifically playing like the fastest ramp pieces.
That's what I'm meaning. I'm not running any of those cards, but I'm running the closest budget, not friendly equivalencies. Like this deck is
tuned to the. You have to stop me, or you have to be as fast as I am.
Yeah, my goblin deck is tuned. I have a tuned goblin deck. I will win the game, every game, if you don't stop me. Period.
I also have other decks, like random tribal decks. It's like, yeah, like I can win the game, but there is a glaring gap between like, hey, if you board wipe me, I'm like sort of out of here.
I'm completely done now.
I'm completely out of here.
I have a Brago Blink deck that's like a 7. It's like it like does so many things, and then it's like, okay, and then what happens? And you're like, no, that was it.
I bounced everything.
I did. I drew like 3 cards. I made like 2 birds. And then I ended up killing the birds because I blinked them wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like,
so like
that's not one.
That's sort of my issue. I don't think.
Like, that's not a 2, but it's not a 3. Yeah, I see what you. But do you remember what he said? He said, I don't want them to make this have a middle bracket.
There needs to. And I think you have to have a middle bracket.
I see your argument
because
for
the reason,
and I think you're correct.
But the reason why they want to avoid the middle bracket is because they want to avoid this is a 7, but you can't deny the existence of 7s and saying that we're either at a 5 or an 8.
Yeah, they removed the ability to have mediocre. Because the pre-cons base levels aren't horrible. But the next level above them is like you added like 10 cards that were like good, but nothing crazy. Like you could have gotten these from the booster that came with the pre-con.
Right. You upgrading your deck, and you might have like, there are some cards in there that might.
Like you had a rampant growth and a cultivate. Now you put in a nature's lore and,
like,
and 3 visits.
You know how there are certain cards in a precon, even though they're a precon card, that card's a 3.
Or the other way, that card is a zero. That card needs to be removed.
Right, but in this instance, I want to talk about cards that are in a precon that are outside of the precon range. Like, yes, this card was printed in a precon, but it's an extremely strong card in a precon. Let's say I take out all the bad cards in my deck and I upgrade the precon, and let's say half the cards that I upgrade with are like in the 2 to 3 area. Am I now a 3 from a precon? I didn't change any of my lands.
That's
I
what I'm
didn't
saying.
upgrade
Like,
any of my lands.
like,
I am now sitting out a 3.
Like, where does it begin and where does it end? Because I agree with you. Like, I now have a deck that was in their category. It's a precon. We'll use the precon still. We'll do like the minimum. I buy a precon. I have the Zinea precon. I got the bird. I put a singular 4 in it. It's white, so we'll use one of the best tutors, Enlightened, right? I put Enlightened tutor in it. Is it now a 2?
No, I think you're still a 1 with an Enlightened tutor. Like so here.
That's what I was saying. Like, when does that end?
So the bracket system is only supposed to assist you in having the Rule 0 discussion. I forgot about that. The whole point. The whole point
that way
of
you can be like, "What are you? Are you a 3 or a 4?" And
what's your?
That way, my Zenea precon doesn't.
It's
get,
like, are you running?
Up.
Are you running any of these 3s? Well, yeah, I'm mostly here, and I might have. Okay, I have an Enlightened tutor. I have a demonic tutor. Okay,
so that's what I was saying. So you're saying even though I got a 4, the other 98 cards are 1s and 2s. So you'd say I'm a 1 or a 2, even though I got a 4 in it.
No, so I don't think it's really about labeling your deck a number. I think it's about.
But I want
hold
to.
On. No, I don't think it, and that's what I think they're trying to get away from.
Yeah, I don't think they want to put them in a box.
And that might be the reason why they don't want there to be a middle bracket, because as soon as you add a middle bracket, then people are going to assume that they're in the middle.
Yes.
When they want there to be specifically a low end and a high end.
If I force you to have a low and a high, then the high will stay high and the low will stay low.
I think all that happens is everybody thinks they're a 3.
Yeah.
Right. Which isn't helpful.
Everybody thinks they're that guy.
Everybody thinks they're that guy. or people are, I'm not really a 3. I'm really like a 2. That's what I think. If you don't add a middle bracket, I think people are going to do the same thing they're doing now, saying that they're a 7.
It's a 7, bro.
It's bro. Look.
I play Mana Crypt into Soul Ring with Arcane Signet to play Dark Grid to
shout out to King Luke.
Yeah, shout out King Luke. I hope you're doing well.
Actually, his content's been fire, even without the
without the like the 2 MVPs.
the 2 MVPs of King Luke.
The King Luke special.
Right.
Yeah, let me get it the King Luke way.
The King, hey, let me.
Sure. Just throws a Mana Crypt. I can totally see it.
But the reason for the brackets to help you have these discussions quicker and more succinctly.
And I get that they're trying to make it quantifiable and less opinionated. They want to.
They're trying to get rid of the unspoken rules of Commander. Like, we don't play Armageddon, even though I've never played Armageddon and don't know how easy it is to play around Armageddon.
As a land destruction player, I can tell you it's hilarious. You know what else I can tell you? If you don't want your game to last an extra 20 minutes, just don't do it. It normally actually only hurts you. It's hard. You
get beat to death.
You get beat to death because guess what? They still got creatures. They have blown up their hometown.
That's what we always say this.
Yes.
Everybody just thinks that, like, you blow up the lands
and then they're stuck.
Like, Oh man,
Now, don't get me wrong.
he's the guy who casted the Armageddon's got 3 mana rocks. He runs away with the game, but the other guy who was ahead of the Armageddon players just like, hey guys, so you just want to beat him to death and we can continue playing this game?
Quick side note, Larry. The only way that works, by the way, is if you play something like Ghostly Prison.
Yeah, you need a propaganda stat.
And then you blow up their lands because you make it to where they can't pay. That's how you get away with it. But again, you'd be building for that. And even then, we talked about this. We're going to get into these next here. There are cards that are busted when they're combined with other things. And then there are cards that are like, this thing's just broke on its own. So it's like, should they be banned? Should certain cards be unbanned? There's some heat that lives in this ban list that, needs to be freed.
So, I think they sort of had, or they either had a discussion that there might be cards that are getting unbanned.
It was brief. You could tell they were nervous about it. Like they're like, maybe it was, possibly considering.
And if you've seen the marketplace, all the cards that are banned are getting price spikes because people are speculating that cards might get unbanned.
Are they really?
Yes.
Oh, that is so funny.
So,
I mean, it's like the stock market. I get it.
Right.
I totally get it.
Speculation.
Yeah.
So, here, we've probably gone over this once before, but just sort of humor us. These are cards that were like, if they were to do unbans,
come join us, Larry. Come join us.
Here they are. I vehemently disagree with this one, but
so the first card that we got here for you guys, we're going to go in alphabetical order to keep it easy. We have Biorhythm. So this one was printed in 2002. We got a 6 colorless green sorcery that states each player's life total becomes the number of creatures he or she controls. So we understand the reasons behind this is, you board wipe, and then you Biorhythm, and then you had an indestructible creature, meaning the board wipe wasn't completely going to kill you, and then Biorhythm, and now lets you have 1 life, and everybody else dies. And so they're saying, they don't like this idea of a strategic or accidental elimination, right?
I think the more prevalent way that this is going to work is that, you're going to ramp to 8 really quick.
Yes.
And then just Biorhythm. You being the player who plays Biorhythm is playing dorks. Everybody else is at 1. You're at 8, and you have 8 creatures out.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Biorhythm definitely. Here, I agree with you. I think Mono Green, Selesnya, and Golgari would adore Biorhythm because they can take advantage of either having a lot of numbers, getting rid of all of your creatures, or having sneakily hard to deal with creatures. And we have ramp. You're right. We can hit 8 fast. Do I think it's ban worthy? I don't think this. I think this is a fun, big green win con. I love the idea of giving green a win con like this. It doesn't have one besides the 100 plus. What is it? Mana
every
Helix?
Single overrun effect you have ever seen.
I know their win con is literally they crack their knuckles and then you're like, what do you mean you don't have a win con?
Right. Green already has a bunch of ways to win.
Yeah, it's beefy.
For having creatures. There's literally I could probably pull up 20 cards that wins you the game because you had a ton of creatures.
Well, Triumph of the Horde is cheap and easy, right? But I feel like if you could unban one, I think Biorhythm is a cool interaction. I think it makes for some cool interactions. I think because it's their life total becomes so it's not like a life loss, and
it is a life loss.
It is. So technically, that's what I'm getting at. It would have some really cool interactions too.
I don't think it's really going to be cool. I think it's going to happen the first time. People would be like, oh yeah. And then after the 10th time you've done this, people please
stop Biorhythming me.
Stop. Like, there's a reason why this card was banned. Coalition Victory. I'm not even going to go deep into this card. It's a bad card.
If it was an instant, I would agree with them. It's not. I'm mad. I've always been mad about Coalition.
I have a Coalition Victory.
Yes, you do. I think
I pulled
played
it out
once.
of a pack. No, I never played it because I knew it was banned.
Oh, you were just showing me that you got
Yeah,
one.
I pulled it out of a pack, and it was my rare, and I was pissed.
I just don't get why it's bad. It's literally 8 mana. Again, it's Biorhythm, 8 mana. Like, I'm cool if it's 8 or higher. Approach to the Second Sun is 7, and then you gotta wait 7 turns. Like,
Approach to the Seventh Sun isn't a good card.
it's not. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Like, why would we ban Approach to the Second Sun? Like, why?
but
Why?
you have to cast it twice.
You gotta. It's 14 mana.
I can understand this card being banned. It's just not ban worthy as of the state of Magic in 2024.
In case you don't know, Larry's, you win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and
It's
a
gonna be
creature
on screen. Fuck
of
them
each
niggas.
color.
I'm gonna cut you off. We ain't talking about all these cards. They know what these are. Emrakul the Eon's Torrent.
I mean, yeah, super basic. We get why it's the cast trigger, but because they don't want people to have infinite turns, but
It's 15 mana.
it's 15 mana.
We need to get over this.
Yeah, let them have it. Gifts Ungiven. I mean, I get it. It's a 3-drop or a 4-drop instant that lets you go get 4 things. But again, there are literal 3-drop versions of this card. Intuition, what is it? Threats, Undetected, it doesn't matter. There are multiple cards that can do this kind of thing, and they're not banned.
The only thing that I say, Intuition literally exists.
And
We already have a thing that does this in CEDH play. That is Intuition. Having Gift Ungivens in the format is nothing different.
it's literally just like saying, like, oh no, Vampiric Tutor exists. You couldn't have Demonic Tutor. And it's like, no, it will be fine. I hate the Golos ban. The only reason I hate the Golos ban is just you made a commander that's just generically really good for Wooburg and can fit any role, but isn't that like a plus? Like, isn't that what you want? Like,
No. Stop being. This is a ban on people
yes.
who like pumpkin spice. You are a pumpkin spice player if you're playing Golos.
Yeah, you don't have to think. You can literally just go. What kind of deck is that?
What type of tribal deck is that? I'm gonna play Golos.
I just know that in theory, they could like make another card that's like him, and it's like, what, are you gonna ban that one too? You know what I mean? Like, if you just accidentally make a Wooburg commander that's too generically good, does that just mean you have to ban it? You know what I mean? Like, because it can do the same thing Golos does.
You see how all the 5-color commanders that they've made after this got banned specifically fit a role?
I know, but I love the jack
You like
of all
generic.
trades. Well, no,
Pumpkin
no.
spice?
I'm not pumpkin spice.
All right, pumpkin spice.
Call him PS for short.
You skipping over one. I got it. Hull Breacher. This one's mine. Bring it back.
I loved this card. I get the rationale behind them banning it, but I agree. So many episodes.
I don't honestly.
So many episodes.
Honestly, I don't care about. Oh, they could cast a wheel and then the game was over. I don't care. We need cards to punish obsessive card draw. This was a card that did that. Bring this back. We have way too much card draw in the format. We need things to punish it.
No, I agree. I loved Hole Breacher. We've said free my boy Hole Breacher in like
since day one.
I think like 6 different episodes. This next one is really cool, and you think it's OP, and then you try to break it down, and then you're like, I mean,
I guess
it's okay, but all right. So here you go. I get Wizard's rationale. We have panoptic mirror. For 5 colors, you get an artifact that says imprint X, and then tap. You remove an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost X from your hand, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, you may copy an imprinted card and play the copy without paying its mana cost. The real reason why they're mad at this is wraths and extra turns. That's the real reason they don't like this thing. Because what it would translate into is if you have the ability to play Panoptic Mirror and then put an extra turn spell on it, if it gets around to your next upkeep, you then have infinite turns without having to do anything further. And that's the only, I get it, that's their beef. It's like an Isochron Scepter with a time skip. But this requires so much mana. Let's just put it in context. You had to pay 5 mana to play the mirror, and then the cheapest extra turn spell that's not going to make you instantly die when the turn's over is 4 mana. Without us playing, either band.
5 mana.
It's 5. Time warp is 5.
5.
So we have to play 5 for the mirror. Then we have to pay 5 and imprint the card on it. And then you have to wait until the next turn. So unless you had 10 mana just available, this actually has to then go to the next turn. So then on the next turn, you then imprint the card. Well, it only triggers on your upkeep. So it didn't matter that you played it on turn 6 and that you have imprinted a card on turn 6, because now they have another turn to try to get rid of this thing, and then that effect happens. It takes 3 turns if you didn't have 10 mana.
The reason why this card is an issue is because people are herder, and they're going to put a board wipe on here, and then no one's going to be able to get rid of this.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Or you put a tutor on it, and it pretty much is giving you a free whatever her name is.
I don't even care about that. It's really like, if you put like a discard spell on this.
Or wheel, another one. Yeah, like like Windfall. You put Windfall on, Dark Deal. Oh, yeah, Dark Deal's a good one because it keeps reducing. I mean, there's tons of things that this thing could have put on it that it's just the fact that it's repetitive. And it's,
you know what it is? It's sort of like they assume that we're giving everybody a driver's license. We are not about to give you a Lamborghini. It might take a lot for you to get this Lamborghini to start, but you're going to put on that gas pedal and crash into a wall.
You're going to die.
You are going to die. You are going to make things unfun because that's what people are geared to do. PT, Primetime, shout out.
Primetime. He's just so good.
I do not want this card back.
I love this card because I think I just love the card. I've always liked the Primeval Titan. I think it's just cool.
I despise this card.
Oh, it is hyper powerful. This is definitely understandably
like it. I'm the type of person who has the most to gain to play this card. Like this would slot into a whole bunch of my decks. Do I want this card available to the masses? No. This card is miserable. But a lot of people want it unbanned. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, but it's not, like I said, it's not game breaking, but it's close.
It's going to lead to the same.
Yeah.
All right, let me go get my Field of the Dead and in company. This is 99% of the time. This is going to be like Field of the Dead plus.
Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, any type of reducer or just anything that cheats him out. Like,
Cheat.
what is
He's
it?
6 mana.
No.
We're green.
No, I know. I'm saying like even you could get him out really early, even. You know what I mean? Like Defense of the Wild Heart. Like
That's too much time.
Too many steps.
That's too much time.
Just use Cultivate and then Harrow.
It's 6 mana. Bro, I'm Field of the Deading you on like turn 4.
Yeah, that's gross. It is. Like I said, I love him. I always thought it was fun. I don't remember it feeling like it ruined.
You didn't have to play against it.
Oh yeah, I owned it. I was playing Primetime. I miss my boy. This is another one that I like. I wish it would come back. Sway of the Stars. It's a 10-drop. I mean, like, it's like Omniscience. Like, Omniscience is a band, and it definitely ends the game. But, like, Sway of the Stars is beautiful. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permits into their library, draws 7. Each player's life total becomes 7.
I swear, if you cast this and you don't have a way to win, I will kick you in your nuts.
I get that's why they don't like
this
it.
This is
it's
a card
like
that makes people scoop, and they sort of like frown on cards. They're just like, well, you don't win, but you just...
Yeah, like the game's not over, but the game's over.
Like if you cast Shahrazad, I'm scooping, like immediately.
I cast Shahrazad, and then I enchant it with Followed Footsteps. At the beginning of each end step, you make another Shahrazad. Infinite games.
Upheaval, stop, don't be a coward.
Upheaval's kind of like the same concept as Sway. They don't like it because it's the same thing. You play Upheaval and the people go, I scoop. And you're like, the game's not over. And they're like, nope, I scoop.
Yeah, I literally got this card in Modern Horizons 2, and I was like, oh man, this is broken. So I put it in my Jadzi deck. Jadzi allows you to put any number of lands from your hand onto the battlefield, so you just like cast Upheaval. Everybody returns all their permanents, and you just drop all of your lands back out, and you're just like, are you guys gonna scoop? I mean, this game's over.
That's why I'm not understanding why they're like, oh, we have to get rid of this. It's like,
this was banned in 2001. I can understand in 2001 this being banned.
no, it was printed in 2001.
Oh, my bad. When was it banned?
NA doesn't show when it was banned. I think if Upheaval would have been more mana, then maybe they might not have banned it.
We have Sunder.
I know, which is the land equivalent, and it's 1 mana cheaper.
I think it's 4 mana. It's either 5 or 4 mana.
I think it's 5. Yeah, return all lands, and it's an instant. I forgot how good Sunder is.
Yeah, man. So I had to take Upheaval out because I found out that it was banned. Didn't know it was banned. I just replaced it with Sunder. It does the same thing. You're still gonna scoop.
I'll give a quick shout out to a card that I don't think like people are like, well, no ban list. Okay, for you no ban list user, just real quick, if you don't know about it, just look up channel. That's all you need to do. It breaks the game.
No, that's not even a good example. That's like Shahrazad. Like,
yeah, Shahrazad is an example of a card that can never be unbanned.
Time Vault.
Yeah, there are cards that literally cannot be unbanned. They can't. Yeah, it's a 2-drop extra turns. I forgot about Time Vault. And then you just have a thing that says untap target permanent, and then it's just, oh, it's so easy.
But is that it? Is that unbannings possible? Maybe.
Do we truly think they will? Honorable, brass tacks. If you had to bet your life savings, would you say that they will unban a card?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they will absolutely unban a card, especially since they're trying to do this new bracket system.
Yeah, like their own pseudo balanced,
which is trying to defogify the format. So essentially, what they're trying to do is, if we're gonna have all these shadow ban cards and things of that nature, let's just clarify what the format is and what the format isn't. And there are cards that are banned, I think, strictly because of assault that shouldn't be banned.
That's what I was saying. There's a couple of cards I don't understand their bans. Like, I don't get it. The logic hasn't completely set in. You read the card and then you just like Coalition Victory is just it's not good. There are way better win con cards. I just don't understand why we had to ban that one. Like they're just like I think it's called Helix Pinnacle, right? It's the one with mana to where if you have 100 counters on it. Isn't that the one?
Yeah.
Like they never, or what's the other one? The one that just came out, the calendar.
But Helix Pinnacle, you have to put 100 mana into.
100 mana? Like,
that's a lot of mana.
But if you make infinite colorless, instantly win.
Okay. I mean, you make infinite mana in any situation, you're going to instantly win.
Rings of Brihearth isn't banned. Basalt Monolith is not banned. You know what I mean? Like there are cards I could easily see them banning that, like, which might be a future video.
I don't see that because it's not a singular card just saying like you have infinite mana.
No, I don't think they'll ever make a single
No, but
card.
that's what I'm saying. The reason why some of these cards are banned is because it's one card doing the thing.
Doing all of it.
As opposed to like, I need a 2-card combo. I need a 3-card combo.
Yeah. Like Krinko and Intruder Alarm. Like, yeah, it's busted, but it's a 2-card combo. It's not just Krinko makes infinite goblins.
Like, hey, if I put out Krinko, like you had all the time in the world to kill Krinko, and then I played Intruder Alarm. Well, if I cast Biorhythm, if you don't have a counter spell and you don't have any creatures, you're dead.
Yeah, it's like if you don't have a single thing out, then you die. No, I see it.
If I cast Coalition Victory and you don't have a response and I meet the conditions, you're dead.
As compared to like I play Felidar Sovereign, you guys have a turn until my next upkeep. I play Approach of the Second Sun. You know I played it. You have a chance to then get ready for the second cast.
If Coalition Victory was a creature, it would not be banned. It's the fact that it's a sorcery.
Yeah.
And you specifically have to counter it.
Same thing. I think if Biorhythm was a creature, it wouldn't be banned.
And then some cards are bad because they're banned. And Primeval Titan was a sorcery.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be banned.
No, he wouldn't be banned. And just to make it to where it could do it more than once, it's got flashback. There you go. Because, you know, Primetime does it on ETB and attack. So, like, you get 2 uses. There you go. It wouldn't be banned. Perfect example, Sunder isn't banned.
Yeah, but it's instant.
I know it is. It's so strong. It is so strong. Hey, definitely, you know, shout out to Sunder. You guys should definitely make that thing more relevant. Bring back, unbench the Kench.
You have to build a deck. I have a whole deck built around like doing that thing.
Hey, but that's what we were kind of alluding to. It's like, just because my deck does that one thing one time.
Yeah, but somebody's gonna put this in their like stupid deck that this card is not built around, and they're gonna Sunder everybody and be like, "Oh, I don't have a win con after this."
I built Azurius Enchantress deck. Like, why do you have Sunder?
Why are you?
Please, I learned it from my senseis.
Like, if everybody was like a responsible Magic player, we wouldn't need a bans. But
no,
people,
be degenerate.
People are dumb.
Be dumb.
People are degenerate.
Ooh.
And people are uninformed. And that's why we have bans.
Hey, call me Ambien because I stay sleeping, all right? Lunestra boy over here.
I hate you.
Oh, well, please comment and tell us if there's cards that you guys wish were unbanned. How do you feel about Wizards taking over Commander?
What do you think about these brackets?
Admiral Bracket 1 through 4 Bass.
1 through 5.
What bracket do you find yourself in?
She's a 5 bracket general.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
Stand at attention. Huh?
Show me your brackets.
Show me your brackets, Private.
That sounds dirty.
It does. I don't have any brackets. So figure out what you guys fall under and see if do you agree with the honorable and that we should have more than 4? Or do you agree with the vicious scumbag and that we need only 1 bracket?
That's where we're at right now.
That's right.
Banned.
You are banned. I am your vicious scumbag.
I am your honorable sensei, and together we are Longturnlarry Podcast. Brackets?